Little Brother are a hip-hop duo. They were once a hip-hop group. The members consisted of Fonte, Big Pooh, and Ninth Wonder. Ninth Wonder did depart in 2007, so they are now just a hip-hop duo. Prior to Ninth Wonder departing though, they put out some albums that are pretty much considered classics at this point, and strangely enough, it was only about a month ago that I actually went through Little Brother's work, because I had actually never listened to them prior to that. So I guess I'm not really one of those fans that's been there since day one. I am kind of a newbie to their music, if you will. But the minute I listened to The Minstrel Show, I was in love instantaneously, and that is absolutely one of the best hip-hop albums of the 2000s. I was crazy not to get on it sooner. They have a very traditional, soulful, laid-back, vibey, chilled out sound to their music, with Fonte and Big Pooh just throwing in really, really introspective bars, really, really clever wordplay. They are essentially rappers. They're no bullshit, they are just everything a traditional rap fan would ever dream of in a rap duo. To add on top of that as well, they are hilarious. The Minstrel Show is a really, really funny album. It's incredibly clever. Go listen to it if you never have. I don't want to spoil all the jokes and all the ins and outs of the humour on that thing, but you'll know what I mean the minute you put it on. And thankfully, they did not disappoint with this comeback, because everything that was once there is still there, and it's as good as ever. Let's be real here, losing someone as essential to the hip-hop world as Ninth Wonder on your production could completely ruin your music, but somehow that is absolutely not the case on this album. May the Lord Watch is just everything we got from Little Brother before, and if anything, they are just more grown up now, if you will. They are more, I guess, introspective than they've ever been. They are more personal. This album digs into so many different types of topics at where they currently are in their own lives right now. In fact, Fonte already gave us this type of stuff on his last album, which came out last year, which actually was a bit underrated. To be honest, in hindsight, I think it actually was a lot better than people gave it credit for, but I suppose it was just a bit too stale for the hip-hop world, especially in today's day and age. The music isn't all that unique or special, but when you've got a rapper as good as Fonte and Big Pooh on the music, like, you know, you can't complain with this Little Brother album, really. Like, sure, with that last Fonte album and with this new Little Brother album, you're not getting something that you've never heard before. That's kind of one of the things that I think will hold people back from loving this, is because in today's climate, the hip-hop world has changed so much that something like this may sound a bit dated, may sound a bit old, not really hitting with the younger audience in the way that it might do with an older audience. But for me, I don't think it's an issue throughout the album at all. In fact, I think it has to be this way, because these two rappers work perfectly on this production, and the production itself is immaculate across the entire album. The intro track, the beat on that thing is just wonderful. That shit just completely, oh, it's just so fucking good. It just sounds so good. It's the smoothest thing ever. Oh my god. The way they come on the beat as well, the way they come on every single beat on this album, oof, it is just sexy. It's sexy as fuck, dude. Their flows are just to die for. You can tell these guys are veterans because they just sound effortless on every track. The way they're coming in, the hooks on this thing as well are absolutely stellar. The hooks on Right on Time, The Feel, as I've already mentioned, What I Came For, Good Morning Sunshine, these hooks are just absolutely on point. They just put you in an absolutely great mood the minute you hear them. They just are incorporated into these tracks extremely well. Of course, the interplay as well between the two rappers is extremely strong. Why wouldn't it be? But even still, you kind of have to commend them as well for being apart for as long as they have. This is the first album in like, what, 9 years I think it is? And, you know, it's like they never left. It's like when you meet up with a friend of yours who you've been friends with for years, but you haven't seen them in years, and everything just clicks straight away. This is exactly that. They're both at a point in their life where it sort of feels like they're not 100% happy with the way their life has gone. They're talking about their struggles. You know, there's a bit of struggle rap on this one, a bit of bit of a old man, it's a hard life type rap, man. Ugh. But it's not really tiring to listen to. I mean, it's only occasionally you'll hear a bar about how, they can't remember the last time they didn't have a sleepless night and that kind of thing. I really like that one verse as well where Fonte's just talking about how, like, he was going through a really rough time. He came out of it feeling worse than ever. He started feeling survivor's guilt. But then in the next line, he's like, yeah, but I finally got my credit right, in the sense that, he's talking about he finally sorted out his debts, his money. And I just like that little story within the album where, like, Fonte is just expressing how things can improve and how things for himself did slowly start to get better, but things are just not the same as they once were, and that's a good thing. But of course, I expect great rhyming and great wordplay from Fonte, of all people, considering how good of a rapper he just is. And the thing I love about this album as well is that you could just run this album through. It's 37 minutes, it just breezes by. The tracks are the perfect length, there's 15 of them. And you don't even have to really pay attention to the lyrics at points, because the beats and the production is just that good that you can just let it ride, and it's just such a smooth flowing listen. But of course, with it being Little Brother, I can't not mention the overarching theme of the album, which once again calls back to their earlier work and is as hilarious as it ever was. So the entire album is based around this network, UBN. I won't say what it stands for, you can discover that for yourself. And essentially throughout the album you get little tidbits, little snippets of talk shows, TV programs, advertisements, that kind of thing, and they never miss. Life After Blackface just kills me every goddamn time with the guy who wants to tell his story and wants to get his identity back. The punchline is just hilarious. Inside the producer's studio is pretty funny, with Questlove doing an interview of this new up-and-coming rapper who is just talking all kinds of shit. It's not the best skit on the album, but it is pretty humorous. The best one is absolutely the basketball talk show skit, which is skit of the year. There is no rap album or albums in general that are going to come close to this skit. This is hilarious. The way they're just arguing about who's the best basketball player of all time is absolutely hilarious. And then the fight that breaks out at the end with the guy that's screaming like, "Get off his dick, you troopy!" I just do not think that skit is ever going to get old to me. I can play it over and over again, and I have been, and it is just still as funny as it was the first time I heard it. But yeah, man, these skits just don't even necessarily need to be part of any album. You don't need skits to make an album good. But the fact that the music is as good as it is, and then you just get these extra little parts that are just so funny. It's good to be a white man again. Just so reminiscent of something from Arrested Development with Job and his puppet that he has. And a lot of artists that do incorporate skits don't ever seem to make it as funny as this or get it right, or they're usually just complete skippables. You get the occasional artist that gets it perfect. Kanye did it on his first few albums, they were funny skits. De La Soul has incorporated their skits well over their time. And plenty of other artists too, but just to get it as funny as these ones is impressive to me. They've got it all on this album, man. They've got the humour, they've got the wit, they've got the incredibly well worded lyrics, the bars, the production. It's just an all-in-one album. I just really hope this one doesn't go overlooked by the end of the year, because it's easily a major highlight for the hip-hop genre in 2019, in my opinion. And I'd like to see other people agree with that too. Hopefully you enjoy this album as much as me. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'm going 8.5 out of 10. It kept getting better and better with each listen, and I hope it continues to get better and better with each listen too, because I am really loving this. Thank you for watching my review. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you got a recommendation out of it as well. If you've not heard of this album or you're not familiar with Little Brother, go back to their older work, come to this album, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, and goodbye.